years, what has been the #1 highlight that you remember over the past 20 years?
Well, that's a tough question. 20 years is a long time. Probably the most recent highlight was for an internet company, because OpenText is an internet company, to go past $1 billion in revenue. That sort of, I guess, is a signal you've arrived on the global stage if you can become that big and you have that many users, and that's 150 million users. So that's probably of recent era, but there have been so many other things that have happened over the years for OpenText. Doing the original internet search engine with Netscape and Yahoo was certainly a consumer highlight. But running the G20 several years ago, for governments throughout the world to trust us with all their secrets was really something. So lots of memories.
How has the onslaught of social media, Facebook, MySpace, how has that helped tell OpenText story, not just to the consumer, but the world?
Well, it's actually driven our business, because what's happened is all that content needs to be managed. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, it creates an enormous amount of content. A lot of people don't realize just email alone, in one day we create enough email equal to 6 Googles. And as Facebook and LinkedIn and chat go bigger, then that amount of content is increasing even more. A lot of people don't realize that Google and Facebook and LinkedIn actually only represent about 2% of the entire internet. We manage the other 98%. So and I have a new word for you, zettabytes. So if everyone knows about gigabytes and terabytes, well, petabytes is above terabytes, and zettabytes is above petabytes. You get a headache thinking about it. But we're now managing petabytes, leading to zettabytes of information. The first original OpenText search engine of the web, our big issue is we had to crawl and provide search service for 1 gigabyte, which anyone can have on their phone or on their thumb drive. So there's been a lot of change.
What are you, with so many people now connected, what are the challenges you see ahead over the next few years?
Finding things. It's been our challenge since the first day of the internet. It will continue to be our challenge, and finding relevant things. That's why things like Facebook are so popular, because within our circle of friends it's already relevant. And why things like Google, we struggle for the relevance because it's not specific to us. So I think what we're going to find is personalized computing, personalized internet, based on where we're located, through our personal device, whether it's a BlackBerry or an iPhone or an iPad, etc. And all the information will come to us. And it's hard to imagine today, but it's something we call the semantic web, where the web itself actually figures out where you are, and you're hungry, and you want to know the location of the nearest pizza shop.
How proud are you to be at the chair of Canada's biggest software company?
Well, it's a humbling thing, because a lot of what we do drives innovation in Canada now. And my heroes of the past have retired or moved on, so it's a humbling experience, actually. And all of us at the company take that very seriously. We know that Canadians and innovation are a very important thing for the economy. So no, we're pretty serious about it. It's very humbling.
Speaking of innovation, what is the next step for OpenText?
Oh, without a doubt, mobile platforms and the web becoming an operating system. So just as we were mentioning before about social media, the amount of information we're creating, because we all have these gadgets in our hands, is causing the amount of content that we need to store and manage and retrieve later to just absolutely explode in growth. It used to be that the internet doubled once a year. We're now doubling every week. Now that may not sound like a lot, but that's tens of thousands of times of doubling in a year. It's just incredible what's happening.
What advice would you have for someone who is about to embark on what you just experienced for the next 20 years? What would you say to them?
Focus. In the early days of internet, we had to focus on one particular aspect of the internet. In fact, we gave up doing consumer search engines. And so you could argue that, well, we could have been Yahoo or Google, etc. But in fact, what we did is we focused on inside the firewall. So our focus was, let's create the Google or Facebook or Yahoo for corporations throughout the world. And by focusing on that, we could win. And I think that's the most important thing for anyone starting today. Focus and do something unique. The 100th version of Angry Birds perhaps would not be a good idea. You have to focus.
Okay. Tell me about the changes to the facility and how they're helping you, I guess, for the next 20 years.
Well, today's a very exciting day for us because we opened Tower 2, and Tower 2 was designed with state-of-the-art development in mind. And when people go on the tour today, they'll be blown away that there isn't an idea of a cubicle, and there isn't an idea of an office. Instead, it's groups that form, disband, and reform in areas. And the areas are all kinds of flexible walls, and it's very funky. Like you'd sort of walk through and you'd say, but where does everybody work? Well, they work everywhere. And we don't have paper filing systems, so it's all now electronic. And all of your information follows you with mobile devices. So it's actually a building for this century. There's nothing like it in Canada.
So does the building space, workspace, sort of reflect what's going on the internet?
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. In fact, it is a reflection of it. And that's actually what we set out to do. We tried to model the building to emulate the way we were designing and how groups were forming and reforming and forming again, and it was different people. And so we tried to make the physical space match that. And it's quite clever what all the folks came up with.
Sure.
How important has it been to be in Waterloo region over the past 20 years and to continue to stay here?
Oh, it's fantastic here. We have in Waterloo, Canada as a whole is a great country for collaboration and research excellence. We produce some of the best people in the world, without a doubt. Waterloo is one step on top of that because it's all in a really small community. It's very rare. As I've traveled the world, not just Canada, but Germany, United States, Japan, China, what goes on in Waterloo is very rare. It's David Johnson always used to like to call it as the Mennonite barn building, and he's right. It is very perceptive on his part. In Waterloo, we help each other. It's it's a rare thing about this area, and yet at the same time, cutting edge innovation, very tough, go to market, all those other attributes, and yet there's this collaboration that happens here.
So you've taken a big leadership role in sort of looking at that innovation next leap, I guess, and providing leadership to that. And why is it that, sometimes OpenText doesn't, get recognized as being that leader in the community, but you guys have worked behind the scenes and are getting more out in front of sort of taking leadership in that area.
But everyone has different styles. This corporation, by its nature, is a behind-the-scenes corporation. It's behind the firewall. Much of what we do, I don't want to call it secret, but people don't want the content that we handle, on the front page of a newspaper or upon a website. Think of WikiLeaks, right? So I think the culture of the company emulates that. I think the managers here that get involved, whether it's Communitech or at the national level, they tend to lead from behind, and it's sort of it's the nature of the company.
Sure, but you're taking a bigger role in stepping out and doing it on the national scene. We know in Stratford you'll be there, the prominent role to play next week as well.
Again, that's part of the role, and it's something that you have to approach with great humility because you're representing a lot of people. So when you're the chairman of the largest software company in Canada, it's your role to represent those things. You just, you have to do it in an everyday sort of every person way. And I think that's what all of us try to do.
What's next for Tom Jenkins in terms of your role? I mean, are you going to continue here? Are you looking towards, I guess, stepping onto more national political level?
Oh no! I'm very much a stay-at-home person. I'll get involved. Minister Goodyear asked me to get involved at the national level with innovation. But no, that's the extent of my involvement. I'm quite busy at OpenText. This has been 20 all-consuming years, and it's not stopping. The issues that we have at OpenText to manage all the content on all of your devices, that keeps me up at night. It's a pretty complicated problem. So I'm actually quite taken by all the things. Actually, many of us in the internet think that we're just coming up to the end of the first inning. There's a lot that's going to evolve now in the next few years, and so I'm really excited to be part of it. And it's really rare for a Canadian company to have 150 million users all throughout the world. You know, think of it, it's like 5 times Canada's population. And we can set the standards on things. So there's no other place that I would rather be than here doing that. And by the way, I brought this. This is the history book of the, yeah, I thought it might be really cool to see this. Classic sort of content thing where you've got playbook and you've got the old paper style. And this is the history of OpenText for the last 20 years. And so what you do is you just go into this, and it gives you all the interactive timeline. And so everything that's in here, plus video, is here. And so this is the sort of playbook version of the paper version. And that's all the history of the company of the last 20 years. So it tells the story of the internet.
Excellent.
But it tells the story most people don't know. It's the story of what we call big data and the hidden web. See, everyone thinks they know the internet because they surf Google or they use Facebook. But 98% of the internet's actually behind the firewall. And this tells the story of that and how it was all created.